Hello everyone. In this KT One-on-One special, we've got the 13th President of Pakistan who's been here on a 2-day state visit, and it also comes at a very interesting times where it comes to domestic politics as well as growing geopolitical developments. Your Excellency President Dr. Arif Alvi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
First up, on behalf of Khalij Times and UAE residents and citizens, we'd like to express our condolences on the passing of your nuclear scientist, that we can have some thoughts on the significance of that personality for the country.
I think his great contribution was the fact that when India exploded its first device in 1974, Pakistan was looking for a nuclear deterrent, and we managed a nuclear deterrent within 6 or 7 years. And I think that's the biggest contribution. It ensured stability in the region. It ensured the fact that despite major disbalance in conventional war situation, Pakistan had a way of balancing it. It ensured the fact that Pakistan has been living in peace because of that.
I'd like to talk about the geopolitical situation. There is a popular notion that the situation in Afghanistan benefits Pakistan, and it, to an extent, was also as a result of either direct or indirect support to regime change. What's your take on this situation?
Pakistan didn't spend any money in Afghanistan in this manner. $2.3 trillion went in. Entire NATO was there handling it, and the world thinks that Pakistan played a role like that. Pakistan did not. Pakistan understood the situation better than the countries which have been trying to create a situation in Afghanistan of peace. We understood the fact that the Soviet presence in Afghanistan, and at that time the entire West considered the fact that the Soviet presence in Afghanistan was not good, and therefore a very major situation was created in Pakistan where the Taliban were encouraged, all the jihad was encouraged against the Soviet Union. The world understands, and I should tell the world that no country in the world has taken such a huge burden. You imagine today, you look at the world around, you look at Europe, countries are afraid to take refugees. They debate about 100 refugees. They let them ships sink in the Mediterranean, don't take refugees. So I think the world should recognize, and it does recognize, most of the countries do recognize the contribution of Pakistan for peace in Afghanistan. Pakistan, even the fact that Afghanistan was being used by our belligerent neighbor India to create a hybrid warfare in Pakistan, we never had any situation where Pakistan had any other intention, because we had 4 million refugees. What can we do with war? So we've been looking for peace always, and we are still looking for peace. So therefore, I think it's very difficult for you as persons and I as a person to accept a mistake which I have made. I've hardly come across people who can do it easily in life. So the same thing goes for groups of people, cultures, and the same thing goes for governments and nations. It's very difficult to accept that we made a mistake.
So what's the solution then? I mean, what's the next step? We know that the United States wants to constantly monitor it. Can Pakistan support in having bases?
Pakistan, I think that is a different question. We want peace. Most important. The world wants peace. So therefore, we should understand the situation. What has happened in Afghanistan is all the forces which were created to resist a Taliban takeover, because they were artificial, so therefore they vanished. There was no reality behind them. It was a lot of corruption and mismanagement, etc., etc. So Pakistan today is looking, number one, Pakistan helped all countries when they wanted to take out their personnel, their diplomats, the people under tremendous pressure. Every country has appreciated that role. At the same time, Pakistan is today saying, at the same time the Afghan money has been blocked at the banks. I think I've heard it is about $13 billion. without an economy, without a government, the situation will deteriorate into chaos with hunger. When people cannot work, the world should learn from all that. The world wants peace. There are too many big things facing the world. Global warming is facing the world. Water scarcity is facing the world. COVID situation by itself and such diseases, the increase in such diseases over the last 2 or 3 decades, from AIDS to hepatitis to dengue, there's no room for war. There's no room for Cold War kind of situation anymore. Every country has to cooperate. So Pakistan is suggesting, Pakistan is propagating a humanitarian, number one, a humanitarian aid situation, number two, trying to develop the economy of Afghanistan. Why? If they are made totally dependent and their economy collapses, they are totally made dependent on humanitarian aid, it will be a chaotic situation. The government has to be able to perform. So therefore, we are looking at a softer view of Afghanistan. You cannot expect a group of people in exile to all of a sudden come in government and establish tremendous governance. That's foolish even to think about that. So therefore, they need time. They should be given time.
So in essence, you're saying work with them. Work with the current administration that's there.
Yeah, either you can fight,
yeah,
or you can work, or you can totally isolate. Isolating means you are doing a negative to make the situation worse. No isolation.
And where do you see Pakistan's role in this? Do you want to be a main player, or is it on the
Pakistan
sideline?
is not a player. Pakistan wants peace. Pakistan is a neighbor. Pakistan has a huge border with Afghanistan. Pakistan made sure, Pakistan is the only country which fought terrorism with success. Only country. We lost 80,000 lives, we lost $150 billion, but we handled it within the country much more efficiently than any country in the world. So therefore, Pakistan has tremendous experience in this regard. So Pakistan's role today is, we believe, for the regional economy, that Afghanistan can itself be a conduit or a communication line between Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Central Asian states for trade through Afghanistan. They are very interested, and so is the government of Afghanistan is interested. You know, the shortest region for Chinese Western states is to Gwadar and Central Asian states. So all of us are very eager that there should be peace. There are huge dividends in peace, and there is negativity in war, whereby if there is an uncertainty, the economies of the neighboring countries are also affected. So there is a negativity if there is no peace. So we are looking forward to peace, and I think I urge the world, let's try for peace.
You were very optimistic yesterday during the forum, and we talked about how we're seeing a progress in the country, but domestically, we're seeing a lot of people saying inflation's high. The passport index of the country, or the country's passport, is very low down in the index. The Naya Pakistan dream that you had, is it being fulfilled at the moment?
Of course it is being fulfilled. There's inflation throughout the world, but it pinches us more because we are a less prosperous country. The commodity prices have gone tremendously high. In fact, the inflation figures we've improved inflation figures in the last 1 or 2 months, but the inflation is tremendous. In fact, oil by itself, which is Pakistan's major import, and the import bill is very huge because of oil. It has gone very high. World commodity prices affect Pakistan. No country can live alone. So therefore, everything is being affected, but at the same time we are trying to manage it, and I am very hopeful that we will be able to manage. At the same time, what we are doing is creating employment opportunities. Because of COVID, there is a setback. We understand. Every country understands that. Because of COVID and a country under pressure. Imagine, countries went into negative growth. Pakistan showed, despite COVID, that there's a remarkable thing, despite COVID, Pakistan showed more than 3% growth, we showed 4% growth, despite COVID. So therefore, I am very confident. We handled COVID very efficiently compared to our neighboring country, for example, in India. So therefore, I have great hope in Pakistan. We make the decisions, right decisions in COVID. We made the right decision in Afghanistan. We made the right decision in, we handled refugees, not a very rich country, we handled refugees tremendously well. So therefore, my trip here also is a part of the same effort to request, to urge people that this is the place, this is a virgin territory to invest, a market of 230 million people with 180 million cell phones, with a huge broadband population which is looking at empowerment of women, which is looking at skill development, which is a huge youth bulge, which is producing IT personnel. The world should be using all our talent, not only the fact that we export labor, but today we want our intellect to be used also.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to more of your visits. And I hope you were very proud of the Pakistan Pavilion at the Expo 2020.
Fantastic. I think there's some tremendous contribution. I urge people to visit that. You'll see a unique thing with Pakistan in a microcosm. You'll see a unique thing. There's a lot of passion of the architects and artists in that, which you can't imagine. So it's a very good pavilion, probably one of the most outstanding pavilions here, and that's a window into Pakistan.
Well, thank you very much. To read more about this, you can log on to khalishtimes.com.